we're going to speak about turning garments to a digital asset. And we're going to bring in Shivang and Chandralika Desai, the founders of Bigthinx. And we're so excited to have you guys here. We are beyond thrilled to, in a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes, play this show that everybody's talking about. And first, thank you for being here.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure, and thank you so much for having me.
Of course, as soon as I found out about everything that you were doing, I just said, okay, at first I need to connect. And second, we need to do something together. And then when I spoke to you and Chandralika and I saw the passion and really doing this because you want to really change the world. And I saw that in you guys, aside from your being so genuine and transparent, it just made us fall in love with you guys just as people. And that always makes things better when you work together. So I just wanted to ask you, you know, how did this all come about as far as, wanting to do this type of work?
So if we were talking about fashion shows, we had absolutely no idea till about 1.5 months ago that we were going to be doing a fashion show. What we really do is that we're an AI company. Big Things does AI for the fashion and retail industry. It uses artificial intelligence to get human body data. So you use your mobile phone to take your pictures of your body. It gets all of your body measurements in the privacy of your own home with just your mobile phone. It also uses a selfie of your face to create a virtual avatar of you. And you can use this avatar to try on the digital clothing, which we also create. So, since we had these three things lined up, which were body scans, digital avatars, and digital clothing, about a month and a half ago, a client of ours came to us, asked us if we could put on a fashion show for them because they had trouble reaching their buyers because they couldn't hold fashion weeks. Then this was in Paris, so they were showcasing at the Paris Fashion Week, which was due to be cancelled, and the buyers and wholesalers could not travel in any case. And that's how we tried, and we just used these avatars, which and all the technology we already had to put together a show. And this became so popular, and that's I think how we ended up reaching you as well, and that's how this evolved, where we're putting on this show today.
That's amazing. Oh, I just want to say something before I think he wants to maybe ask or say something. But I saw, Hanifa, she was the first to put together what we all think a 3D runway show would look like. And she did such an incredible job. And I thought it was such a beautiful show. And, I was wondering, did you get a chance to watch that and what your thoughts were on it?
I'm glad you asked that because I have watched it. I have watched it multiple times and I am absolutely blown away. That show was fantastic. So we were already at work on this show when that one came out. And when we watched it, both my co-founder Chandalika and I, we just absolutely loved it. Now, there has been a little bit of controversy surrounding this where, a debate on who's been first. And we don't care about being first. We think Hanifa is first. Absolutely. She's the first one to do this show. We are just trying to help the fashion industry. That's where we are. We're trying to use this technology that we already had to try and help designers and brands in a difficult situation that they are in right now because of the pandemic. And then post pandemic, this could be a way for these designers and so on to use these platforms and services such as we provide to also be able to showcase fashion shows, photo shoots, and so on. So being first is not our priority. It's to help. And we sincerely hope that we can work with Hanifa one
Yeah.
day, maybe on her next collection if she wants to.
Yes, definitely. I love that. And I think it's all about collaboration and supporting each other's great work. That's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Yes, really good. Shiva, tell us a little bit about the process to build the 3D virtual runway show.
Absolutely. So it all starts with two processes, as I mentioned. One is the body scan, and one is the facial generation. So, how do you go from 2D, which is a normal photograph or a picture, into 3D? So, what the body scan does is it gets 44 different measurements of the person's body, and it reconstructs that into a 3D avatar. But this 3D avatar doesn't have the person's face yet. So what the selfie does, or a picture of the person's face does, is it extracts that person's face, it extrudes it, and creates a 3D head out of it, which has the person's features, their looks, their skin tone, and so on. So this completes the creation of the avatar. And then the second portion, which is the creation of the digital clothing. At Bigthinx, we have an automated artificial intelligence pipeline, which identifies from any 2D picture what kind of clothing is in that picture. It extracts patterns, details, and so on, and recreates that in 3D. Now, in the case of fast fashion, this works brilliantly. We're still building this for luxury fashion because there's such a variety of styles that even the AI needs to be really, really smart to handle this. And when both of these parts are created, the avatar and the clothing, it's as simple as you putting on your clothes. It's draped on the avatar just the same way, and you see it in front of your own eyes.
That's amazing. Do you think that 3D runway shows are going to replace live runway shows, or do you just think it's going to be a complementary thing?
I think it's going to be complementary. Now, the live shows have the element of spectacle to them. They have the element where people collaborate, they gather, they talk. So these things are still going to be extremely important in the traditional fashion shows. But there definitely is a complementary aspect to virtual fashion shows, which not only enable these brands and fashion designers to showcase multiple shows for a far, far lower cost and way more sustainably
Yeah.
than with regular shows. It also enables upcoming designers to benefit from the medium of fashion shows, which otherwise they might not be able to do, because fashion shows, let's face it, real fashion shows are frightfully expensive.
Yes, completely agree. I agree.
Yeah. And what is the challenge to really build the virtual runway show in your experience?
What has been the biggest challenge?
So the biggest challenge to do this was a little bit about education. We have some amazing designers who've shared their pieces, and we were digitizing these. But what we've seen in the fashion industry is the normal fashion shows have designers working almost till the very last minute, till the model walks out on the ramp, making small changes here and there, correcting the look, making sure it's perfect. With a digital fashion show, it's about getting all this material ready beforehand, because it needs to be digitized, it needs to be choreographed, and it needs to be put on in a virtual show. So this is a little bit of an education process where we have discovered that we need to be really, really transparent with designers about how long it's going to take and what the process entails, so that we can put on a fantastic show for them.
That makes sense. Well, I feel like, unless there is something else that you want to share with us, I know people are waiting and excited, and I cannot wait. But is there any last thoughts that you want to share with us just in regards to everything?
Well, I do want to say one thing. It's about the women who are behind this and who all too often don't get recognized. So it's you, Jordana, who've been with us 24 hours, always available whenever we needed some guidance or we needed to ask you something. It's about women like Hanifa and Hanifa from Hanifa, who are doing their bit to push forward the fashion industry into the digital age. And of course, my co-founder, Chandalika, without whom I would be completely lost in all of this. So I want to shout out to all, not just you three, but all the women who work so hard and so tirelessly, and many times just don't get the credit they're due.
Thank you. Hearts.
She's good.
No, but it takes a partner. It takes a partner. Again, this is all a collaborative effort. We could not have done any of this without each other. And so I think without further ado, we should show the people what we put together, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.